Cruise News Today with Doug Parker.
Good morning. Here's your cruise news for Monday, September 8th. Royal Caribbean is extending its suspension of port calls to its private destination Labadee, Haiti through at least April of next year. Royal Caribbean first started notifying guests late last week that the ports will now be Grand Turk, Nassau, or a day at sea, replacing Labadee. The cruise line first paused visits in March of 24 due to unrest in Haiti, then briefly resumed last October and then suspended again in April of 25. The country remains on the Department of State's Do Not Travel list as a level 4. And a related note, if your ship is going to Nassau instead of Labadee, Royal Caribbean's opening up its Nassau Paradise Island Beach Club in December. However, there is a cost to go to that of $150 per person, and it is capacity controlled. And a sad story out of Alaska. A cruise passenger was killed in a bizarre accident late last week in Ketchikan. A parked vehicle suddenly accelerated, crashed through a fence, and landed in Ketchikan Creek, striking several pedestrians on the way. Bystanders rescued the driver out of the creek, but a 57-year-old female cruise passenger died from her injuries. These photos courtesy of the brave men and women at the Ketchikan Fire Department. The area remains closed for repairs, and the accident is under investigation. Our thoughts are certainly with her family. And passengers visiting St. Maarten over the weekend got more than just a sunny day. They witnessed a dramatic aviation scare yesterday at Maho Beach. A WestJet 737 arriving from Toronto suffered a landing gear collapse at Princess Juliana International Airport. All 168 passengers and crew did evacuate safely and were bused to the terminal. A passenger, though, who was on the beach, shared the news with our tip line, describing the response as, quote, very organized. That's good to hear. It just so happened on a day when there were 6 cruise ships docked in Phillipsburg, meaning thousands of cruise passengers were on the island. And cruise stocks were mixed on Friday. Carnival Corporation down 1%, 31.57. Royal Caribbean down 2%. That's at 352.27. Norwegian up slightly, 25.66. And Viking down 0.5%, 62.83. If you have a lead on a story, let us know. Tips at cruiseradio.net. Here in Southeast Asia, gearing up for a 17-hour flight to JFK. I'm Doug Parker with Cruise News Today. Have yourself a great Monday.